What's up, YouTube? I'm Cody,
I'm Cody.
and today we're going to be talking about rap versus rock.
It's not really so much, oh, rap's better or rock's better. We should be going over the history of them and kind of reflect on what the future has for both of them. You know, he likes rap and I like rock. You know, rock and roll was here first, so I guess I'll go first. You know, you have a lot of people who go around saying, oh, Elvis was the king of rock, or whatever it is. You know what, that's a bunch of bull, because Elvis, if you know anything about him, stole most of his music, if not all, from black artists. It's a fact, people. Have to face facts, go look it up. So really we'll start out with the 60s, and as far as rock music goes, that, well, you had little people like Little Richard and everything. I'm not going to go into that. You know, you had the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, who were the ones who dominated the, at least early 60s. Now, you know, nobody had seen anything like the Beatles or the Rolling Stones. It was called the British Invasion, because they were, yeah. But like, the Beatles, a lot of people, when they first came out, that it was basically a pop band, but it progressed into being more of a rock and roll band. And then at that time in the 60s, that's when, you know, the adults or your Sunday school teacher would be like, oh no, don't you listen to that rock and roll, it's from the devil and whatnot. You know, yeah, whatever. Yeah, a lot of the rock artists in the 60s and pretty much in all times were not Christian or religious for that matter. But hey, it's music. It doesn't really have to do with that, you know what I mean? We're not supposed to like an artist because of how he believed. So, you know, so after the early 60s, you go into the late 60s, you have bands like The Doors, which was really one of the first popular American bands. Now, a lot of people say, oh, Jim Morrison was such inspiration, he was a rock god. Well, that's a bunch of bullcrap. I mean, Jim Morrison, to get down, when you want to get down with it, you know, down and dirty with Jim Morrison, he was just a daggone drunk. That's how he was. He was a drunk. I don't want anybody to say, oh, well, Jim Morrison, he had such inspirational thoughts. Well, hopefully you will know the fact that Ray Manzarek wrote all the music. That's true. The keyboardist, Ray Manzarek, wrote all the music for The Doors. Anyway, Jim Morrison was a drunk. He was a
LSD, acid.
He took acid, he was tripping. There was a story you could probably find on YouTube where Ray Manzarek tells a story of Jim Morrison sneaking back into the recording studio and hosing the whole recording studio down because he thought it was on fire because there was a little red light on it. That's what Jim Morrison was. Everybody would be sitting there ready to record a song in the recording studio, and he'd be half passed out on the ground. No wonder he died. And I'm not going to insult him because, oh, haha, Jim Morrison died. No, I'm not like that. But I'm just saying that Jim Morrison was no rock god. The band could have been just as good without him. Really, I mean, Ray Manzarek can sing pretty good, in my opinion. Take Jim Morrison out of that band, and it's still a great band, and if not better. I'm talking too much about the Doors. The heyday of rock and roll is probably the 70s. You had bands like Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, AC/DC with Bon Scott, which is better than AC/DC with Brian Johnson, in my opinion. You know, they released some really good albums. All three of those bands did. And it's not just them. You had your Foghats, and then you also had your REO Speedwagons and your Journeys and Kansas and those bands, and they were all good. But really, if you want to highlight the 70s, you say Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, and AC/DC. And yeah, that was the heyday of rock and roll, the 1970s. And after the 70s, you had the 80s, which is when metal came around. You know, you had Slayer, and Megadeth, and Metallica. And Megadeth, just stop there right here from Megadeth. Who thought that name up for the band? A 6-year-old? Megadeth? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's when your metal came around, and then you had your glam rock, which is just gay. I'd say the only band that you could probably listen to in the 80s that started in the 80s, wasn't in the 70s, and then carried on to the 80s, was Guns N' Roses. Yeah, Guns N' Roses was good, and Van Halen was okay, but that's about it. And then you get into the 90s, you have basically Nirvana. And Nirvana, you know, you have Kurt Cobain, who was basically the John Lennon of that area. Blew his brains out. Courtney Love. Yeah, that's what happens. You live with Courtney Love, she drives you to the brink of insanity and you blow your brains out. Thank you, Courtney Love. You really did us a favor.
Alright, well, I hate to stop you, but we don't have much time as it is, so I'm going to have to squeeze this in. Now I'm going to be talking about rap, or hip-hop. Hip-hop came along late, early 90s, with people like Will Smith. He brought hip-hop, and then Eazy-E, Snoop Dogg, Biggie Smalls, Tupac, Dr. Dre came around and made rap. Rap is one of the, just overall, it's probably one of the most listened to genres of music. For good reasoning. Well, not really, but I like Eminem. I think Eminem's the best rapper of all time. I don't like Lil Wayne. And a lot of people are saying Tupac's still alive. Well, he's not. And somebody tried to argue with me the other day saying, well, why is he still making songs? It's because they're underground and they're just now getting leaked. Lil Wayne has over 800 underground songs that not even all of them have been leaked yet. That's another thing. Underground is not specific artist. Iceman, I guess, is an underground artist, but Lil Wayne can be underground. Eminem, Usher, Ludacris, all the rap artists that you hear on the radio can be underground. Drake. Rap brings a lot of drugs.
So did rock.
Yeah. Lil Wayne got it huge into drugs and hip hop. That's actually what started the drugs and hip hop. If you know any Lil Wayne, you'll know his music is vulgar. And I really can't say anything about that since I do listen to Eminem, but he takes it a little far.
Yeah.
All he talks about is banging a girl, beating his girls, or
Whatever.
drugs, shooting up cops, and getting high all the time.
I would not be surprised. Turn on the TV and find Lil Wayne died of drug overdose or something. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, Tupac and Biggie had to die along with Eazy-E. A lot of you don't know who Eazy-E was. He sang with Dr. Dre a lot. As we all know, Dr. Dre is one of the best, not artists, because his music was terrible, but recording people ever, because he works with 50 Cent, Eminem. He's worked with a whole bunch of people. A lot of people are trying to say that Justin Bieber's rap. He's not. He's pop, but that's another video. That's pretty much it on rap. If you don't rap, you love it or you hate it. You can't just iffy about it.
Yeah.
Like, if you sit and listen to Eminem, you can't say he's okay or I'll listen to him once or twice. It's rather you listen to him all the time or you don't listen to him. Same with Lil Wayne. Same with most rap.
Well, I guess we'll take this short period of time to talk about where we think rap and rock are headed.
We only have 1 minute.
And really, to shorten it up, rock is dead. I hate to say it, but after Kurt Cobain died, rock and roll just died. It does not look good for rock and roll. I think it's pretty much done. What about you on rap?
Rap's growing, actually, with Drake coming up. Travis McCoy, he got really big really fast. Bruno Mars, B.O.B. Rap's going to be around for a while. It's not going to last as long as I'd like it to, but it's going to be around for a long time. That's pretty much it, and I guess that's the end of this video. Hopefully we're going to have a part 2 up soon.
I'll be dealing with pop music.
Yeah, pop and how bad it sucks. Alright. Well, peace out, YouTube.